Music looks different. Before, musicians would sell CDs, hope to get on radio or MTV. Now they need to become an influencer. You think the Beatles had to worry about content strategy?
You gotta be on TikTok.
Did Addison Rae dance to your song? How much content do you create? Do you have Twitch? How do you engage your audience? Do you have any non-fungible assets?
It's exhausting. Last year, an artist named Grimes sold an NFT for $6 million. Who is that? In 2006, artists were selling ringtones. How much would a Beyonce NFT go for if Grimes made $6 million? Nas is using an NFT to sell the future royalties of his newest album. So the album's like a stock and the fans are investors, but it actually makes sense. You probably know more about your favorite artist than the Bored 8 Yacht Club. Streaming revenue is booming. Warner music stocks are soaring and there's money falling from the NFTs. So now artists need an audio engineer and a crypto engineer, a manager and a social media manager, an agent and an investment banker. Feels like we're not in Kansas anymore. I like it because it'll kill all the arguments where people are like, Kendrick's the best, Drake's the best. They'll be like, put your money where your mouth is. Who are you buying, you know?
That's right. And if you think you're the supporter from day one, you can really show that. If you're the fan that's early on this artist, you will know because there will be a proof of purchase.
Yeah, it's like saying I bought Apple stock at $10 or whatever. You're like, I bought that song when it was worth this much and now it's worth that much.
I like it more than a lot of the things we've seen in a lot of the crypto space because you actually can understand what it is. It's more understandable. It's more kind of logical.
Music, once again, is leading the trend. And that's like what we see in the digital revolution. It was the first to be decimated by Napster and the digital revolution. And now it's already, because it's so relevant, because it resonates with everybody, because it's the universal language, music again is leading the trends in digital.
Yeah, and it's leading it back up. That's a great segue to the next segment about the creator economy in the music industry, artists starting their own labels. As we mentioned, they've figured out how to make money with streaming. Music looks a lot different these days, as I said. Jesse, maybe you can kind of go through how music looked when you started out, like over a decade ago, and now how it's kind of evolved into an actual place that there's an actual strong business model.
The era of the CDs were right when I came into the music business was a very lucrative time for the record labels. They were selling these CDs that make maybe $1 to make by the tens of millions. And it was just a lot of money coming into the record labels. That has totally changed. This is a very diversified industry now where you've got streaming money, you've got touring money, you've got brand partnerships, you've got tech innovations, you've got investments. Artists are really more than ever the creators or the CEOs of their own brand, and the fans are their influencers. The fans are the ones that are out there spreading the message on their behalf and even investing in their projects in ways that they couldn't traditionally in the past.
I love this chart on Charter. It starts at like tracking where the industry was going. You saw the CDs dominating it for 20 years. Then you saw, it just had nothing. You had ringtones and downloads, and then now streaming looks like it actually is a sustainable model.
Streaming is now where vinyl was in 1983 in terms of revenue, just to show you kind of that they still haven't quite hit the 20 billion mountain that they'd hit in 2000.
And what's wild is that vinyl is having this nostalgic moment. People want it. Vinyl sales are up. Music is doing really, really well. It's a healthy business again. And when I started my career, it was not. It was on a downward swing. And now all of a sudden it's firing on all cylinders. Obviously the touring side's having its trouble. But one thing is that 60,000 new songs a day are coming out on Spotify and even more on YouTube, which means it is really hard to digest all of the music coming out every week on these streaming platforms, like most content places. So it's a lot of content coming at you. There's a lot of music being created, but there's also a lot of shit music that's just filling the streaming platforms.
So Jesse, what would you say? Because on one side you have the whole booming on the independent creator booming, but then you have to be your own CEO and deal with all that, like I said in the intro. But on the other side, the big labels are also booming because streaming is an actual business model. If you were a young artist, how would you make that decision as to go to a label or to build your own kind of creator company?
It really depends on what you want to be. If you want to be in the top 10 then a record label really is a great place to do that. But you need to build your own leverage. So as an artist, you want to know how to build grassroots social media and NFT and Web3 relationships and be able to put your music out there and create a fan base. Because of that, you will have leverage with your major label deals if you end up getting a hit or if you end up climbing the charts. But if you don't need the major labels. You can find backing from a community and create a sustainable business model by just consistently releasing music.
And in the end, looking at 2021, which was a huge moment for music, how do you kind of see that year and the year moving forward, Jesse?
2021, and because of the pandemic, has changed music forever and has opened up the eyes to what Web3 and NFTs and companies like Royal are, and as well as this has been a birth of the live stream era and like we've never seen before, and more artists are going to include live stream in their overarching strategy. And so with that, as well as the fact that dynamics are shifting in the music business, where now artists are getting better deals from record labels or demanding better deals from record labels or understanding that they need to own their masters. The predatory practices of the past are not going to fly in the future. And that's going to create a lot more opportunity and upside for artists and help the relationship between artists and labels be continuously more and more healthy.
You're getting choked up there.
I am.
You're
I'm
about
excited.
to cry. It's so good.
I'm so excited to see that this is a change. It's a much necessary change in music.
It's so interesting, Alex, because you brought up the example of the Beatles in your introduction, and like the Beatles, for their, to their credit, started their own, record label, Apple, back then, because they felt they were being burned by the record label. So, music, there's more than a half century now of innovation. But like, credit to the Beatles, who then, they put James Taylor's album out first with their record label and found there was an opportunity for them to make more money. So you can go far back in, kind of 20th century music history to find that musicians have really been on the forefront of innovation when it comes to, how to best distribute and also make money, generate revenue off their music.
That's actually a good segue to the next segment. Thanks for tuning in. If you like our videos and want to support the channel, please like and subscribe. You can also subscribe to our Substack newsletter for exclusive updates and find the audio version wherever you podcast. Thanks for watching.